It says you'll sell your daughters for.
I think it's in 4. No, it's not 4.
Joel
3.
You're close. It's close.
2 or 3.
Yeah, it's Joel 3 and 3. It says Joel chapter 3 verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot.
So lots is gambling, right? Like the brother said, they're gambling men, people. They want to take back me and Barzal. Oh, me, we don't have a big guy. You want that one?
Yeah, LeBron James. I want LeBron James.
LeBron James. I want LeBron.
Yeah.
They showed you in the movie Mandingo. Remember, the woman went up to him and then looked in his trousers.
Yeah.
Oh, he got a big rod. I want to fuck him.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, she running, man. Nah.
You're gonna make me a lot of money.
God, you still got that today. Wow. Yeah, you see Jake is a good prospect.
Yeah, it's true.
They do that in the entertainment system.
Yep.
Like even when I went to college and played ball in the States, it was like, it was a prospect thing. You're a new kid, you're good at ball. And it really is like how they see in the movie. You got women kind of lined up, and do it, and like Jake hit them up and, train them all. It's just the same thing.
They showed you that in
because he looks like this and all this, that.
He Got Game.
Yeah, He Got Game.
Yeah.
That's a good movie,
To add what you're saying, when I was playing professional football, when I went to the draft, they lined us up. Like we were like compression shorts, and they would look. The coaches would look. Okay, look. He has good form. He has good chest. Look at his development. They actually line up like slaves and pick and choose which player they want to pick on their team.
Yeah, he just read it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Well, that's what it's about.
Yeah, so I was
That's
like,
where they get that from.
yeah. So I felt like a slave when I was up there. I was like, yo, this feels weird.
Remember
It
this?
is.
Yeah, it's
What the
fucking
elder
weird, man.
mentioned about emancipation, that
God,
bullshit,
yeah.
right? It was all bullshit. So the tools are still being used, all right? But the men of the Lord are out here to continue exposing that it does exist on different levels, and that's what we're running away from and begging the Lord to keep us. We fear Him.
Well,
Go
the
ahead.
emancipation population, that also continues through sports because technically
Absolutely.
Your coach is your slave master. And when you go from college to the pro league, that's what happens. They get emancipated ownership of you to the head coach or the actual GM or the team owner. So they still, that emancipation proclamation is still in effect.
Okay.
Through different contracts.
And the first person you meet, I don't know if you met them, but the first person you meet real quick is that damn Obia man. They call him psychologists today.
To keep you in check.
To keep you in check, to keep your brain, to keep you washed, to keep that slavery tool on you.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying
Shackles
is,
on the mind.
that's why you didn't get there. And there's levels to it.
Yeah.
So you get it from the collegiate level or whichever level you come from, and then they get rid of that guy and they bring a higher. As you go up higher, the sorcerer become higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
That's all I'm really saying.
My daughter got a full
That's
scholarship
funny.
paid
Yes.
for soccer, but ever since she was like, I think 8 or 9, because the soccer mom, I was taking them too early. So I went one time, and the coach saw my daughter, saw me. I've been watching my daughter, was like, this. And they kept following her to whole high school until they got her. Boom. Free scholarship, man. Paid, everything paid.
Trust me. Yeah, that's how it works. And then as you go to the different levels, you have a different Oberman come.
Yeah.
And it just gets higher and higher.
One
Go
quick
ahead.
thing though, I just because I don't want to stay too long on it.
Yeah.
My cousin was telling me in the United States military is the worst because what they do when you get in, they do all types of shit to you. They examine your rod, they do all that stuff. It's worse than like sports.
6'7" course.
And you have to fit a certain criteria. If your rod's not a certain side, they don't look at you.
For the army.
For the army, he was telling me that shit. It's like a psychological warfare.
That makes
thing.
sense though. That makes
Well,
sense.
that's what we're breaking down.
Yeah,
But now
Yeah, that makes sense.
so on every level.
And there's a thing called a nanny system, right? And you were bringing up how they got psychologists. When you're in college and you're not good with grades as Jake, which I wasn't, they'll get you a tutorer.
Yep.
That tutor is actually a psychologist, and it really goes back to a nanny system where they take care of you, or not take care of you, but kind of like keep their eye on you and then report to your coach. This is how he's doing. This is the development. This is the conditioning.
You want me to expose that?
Oh, real quick. When you go back
I'll
to
tell you what
slavery,
that's all about.
right? When you go back to slavery, they would actually go and they'll get the biggest, thickest Jake-looking woman, and they would beat her man senseless in front of her and threaten her and tell her, listen, if you don't get him in line, which is where the whole feminist movement came from, if you don't get him in line, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him and your kids and then kill you. So these black women were set up in these different houses to watch, to really, that's why they started developing that mentality, where they're the men of the house, they're always telling you what to do, what
And
not
it was
to do.
only mostly the house
Mammy.
man.
Mammy, that's what, yeah.
Nigga
Mammy,
mammy.
Yeah, Mammy. Aunt Jemima.
Mammy,
on
two
that-
shoes.
Aunt Jemima, that's where she is. That's that big, overgrown Jake woman, jolly smile, that's a mammy. And that's
There you
where
go.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yep.
That's all the slavery back
That's
there.
feminism.
That form.
That's where that feminism
really,
came through.
this is really what we're talking about on
Yeah.
different levels. Yeah, very, very
Scripture,
serious.
they said
But they still do it in college. It's the same idea.
Yeah, I experienced that.
Yeah.
The same
So
thing.
a new thing, a woman will encompass man the earth. That's all scriptural. Where a woman is going to be leading the men.
Yeah.
Not these men.
It says a new thing.
A new thing.
It says it's a
Right?
new thing. Yeah, that was it.
That's it?
You got that?
Okay. All right. So I guess I'll go back to the Psalm 64.
Yeah, continue.
It says, Psalm 64 and 3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
So they always have their councils where they get together and talk about what they're going to do. And they do it in secret behind closed doors. You know, because really when it comes to like the Rothschilds and these banking families, it's us that expose them. And some of these guys that, these other Edomites that are set up, because without us and them, they wouldn't really be out there. They're not trying to be seen or anything like that.
Yeah, his tongue, it says his tongue is used like a sword.
Wet,
So
Wet
it's,
like a sword.
Yeah, wet like a sword. So understand that it's just simply going into his purpose and what is. Hey, when they sit down, they're just thinking to cut, and it's really those people on the side is their number one target, right?
Because they already got the masses.
Yes,
They already got them.
the masses,
But they
it's-
don't have they don't have the unblemished ones.
Right, it's really the
Which is
elect,
the elect.
which is the elect. Beautiful.
They can't get that because that's in Most High's hands,
That's right. But their tongue is wet as a sword, or
which is
yeah.
a better word for sharp.
Yes.
Well, just like how
Constantly.
we meet like this, we do it in public, and they're contrary to us. Everything we do on the right, they do on the left, like behind closed doors. And they want our downfall, like we want their downfall. Same thing, but it's opposite.
Good versus evil.
This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
That's speaking
sword.
about Esau. At the latter end, he's going to his control, his yoke, is going to be busted off of us, right? And we're going to take the kingdom. Pursuant to Isaiah 40 and 17. By violence.
Well, yeah, Daniel, I think it's 7 and 18. And the saints of the Most High shall possess the kingdom.
God.
Right? That's already, it's already settled in heaven. Right? And we're going through that. I mean, when you young men understand those prophecies, we're in it right now. But the Lord says that He says, I will tell you what is the truth. This is the truth, what He just mentioned. There's nothing else waiting to be hidden other than us possessing the kingdom, so to speak. Right? So it's a true thing. So it doesn't matter what kind of prophet you get down here from Esau. The kingdom will be possessed by the saints. The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yosha has already set that up.
We're going to tell our kids stories, man. So just like how they tell their kids stories now, but taking us down, but ours will be truthful, right? Daddy, what's an Edomite? Oh, I'm sitting right here, man. You know, I went to tell them what it was. Oh, really? Blue eyes, and yellow hair, and yeah. Oh, Daddy, I'm scared.
Oh, can I see one? Can I see one? Can I put a chain around his neck?
Well, that's going to be that spirit. The spirit of truth will be on his neck. Will be in the side of the children. You're going to be able to create that to I believe we're going to be able to create that because it does talk about our memories. The Lord is going to keep our memory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so this is Psalm 63 and 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter.
There you go, and fear not, right? Go ahead.
They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
And then the thing I saw with Bill Gates, talking to the CIA, it says encourage themselves in an even matter. Like what they're doing right now, it's from 2005. I'll put it in the chat, but he showed the date. You know? Yeah, showed the time when we do that. And he encouraged himself in an even matter. So from 15 years ago, these guys are planning these things, right? It's called a fun vax, right? And saying it attacks this and this, and now it's come to fruition, right? They did a diligent search and how does it work, right? And then them demons came and sit and sup with them and show them like how it works, because like everything you conceive, you get that spirit, right? And these spirits is basically deep. Demon, the left hand side, come and show you how to do certain things because you're I do this, man, and you do your thing, you're ritual, you sacrifice, and they come talk to you, man, and show you what's up. It's not of a man's own will that he figure things out. The most I send some wicked angels, right, on the left hand side to show you what's up.
Yeah, the angels turn on their wicked charm.
Talk in your own voice.
Verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
Yeah, because when the Rothschilds started coming up in America, across the world too, they started inputting chemicals to do away with natural remedies. When you look at natural remedies, they started introducing chemicals.
They started that during like World War I and II and stuff like that.
Pharmaceuticals.
And they were attacking babies mostly.
Exactly. And they would exile.
They're still doing it today.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, gold, oil, and drugs that go back to this sorcery. You will see it play out.
Why does Johnson & Johnson, most of all the products, you spray bottle products that you have that you clean your bathtub with or toilet and whatever and whatnot, all of that is mostly Johnson & Johnson, right? And then they have other joint companies, sister companies under them or whatever.
You know what? A lot of this stuff is because Esau was being plagued by demons. Because there's this one real quick. There's this article I read up on a study done between African Americans, so-called African Americans, and so-called white people, and did a test on stress levels. And so when a so-called white person would go through some hell, their stress levels would be a little high, and then when the hell was done, it would go back down. But you put a Jake through stress, his stress level will be high and will stay high, right? And then they started doing a psyop on the brain and seeing what neurologically is happening. And they say that what happens with Jake is that even though they go through a stress matter, for some reason they conceive the possibility of that happening again from an outside source. They're talking about the Most High. And Jake is aware that if they sin, to some extent, bad luck, karma, or something will happen. That's why they stay stressed. So they would give Jake a drug. I forgot what drug it was, but to dilute that stress, to almost make him like a sheep without a shepherd, walking to the slaughter.
See? Look.
See? So now when they're
Go ahead,
stressed out,
brother.
they don't actually think about why they're stressed, because Jake, we're connected to the Most High. And when when we do something wrong, we're like, okay, something's gonna happen. But now we can do something wrong and still do it because we're not that good stress. Rather,
Beautiful. As you're saying that, it goes right back to Psalms 36 and 1. And the distinction, those who fear the Most High were set up to fear Him, and those who are not set up to fear Him. And that's what this man wanted to continue to do with his program, with his V program, is to turn you into that. What's that? It's not sheep, but when you take his it's really to turn into a zombie, just to attack the VMAT 2 that the Most High says those people on the side is going to worship me on the right hand side, and you people who are not on the side are going to worship me on the left hand side. It's to attack that. Hey, it's the same method, but this is the final assault the device of Satan is perfected. I really believe that in my heart.
I have a script.
Yeah, bring it
This is
up.
Isaiah 46 and 8. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind. O ye transgressors, which is okay. When it says bring it again to mind, you know, going back into the rehearsing the righteous acts,
Yes.
right? Knowing that, hey, I'm going off. I gotta, you know. But that's only for the elect. Everybody else, our people only fear the Most High when they're about to go to jail.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Mama's crying in the court
Yeah,
house,
court.
so you gotta go to king. He already killed somebody and whatnot, and she bawling her eyes.
Yeah, wailing.
Yes. Yes.
I'll take it that the red Bible half the New Testament.
Yeah.
Reading both Psalms. Yeah, Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You know?
Yeah. And then
That's so good, Dave. That's so good. You got to get in trouble.
Oh my God.
because they always go back to what the brother just said. They always said this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then I'm going into Buddha. I'm going into Rasta. Fucking Islam.
man,
Yeah, you end up doing that because it's too late. But go ahead, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Again, to the open man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is it. And they're lining up for the V, right? The ultimate Obeah on this side, on the left side, whereas you have the, if I may say, the righteous Obeah, because there's nothing wrong with the word Obeah, right? That's pushing this word in righteousness. I'm just saying it that way. But you know what? You can't discern it. You can't discern it because, hey, the Lord didn't set you up to discern it, because that discernment goes back to that acumen. And that goes back to that faith. He says it's impossible to please him without faith.
God.
But he's the one, our power on the right is the one that gives you the faith. And we're out here begging, and we're always begging for that acumen, for him not to remove it. That's what the psalmist is going into,
And they give
not
us
to
more.
remove that acumen. Right? That, hey, you can't beg for the, we're just saying you can't beg for the acumen that way. There's an order, and the brother was just reading it, man. There's
You know
an
what
order
acumen
to
is?
things, man.
Acumen is like intellect.
Well, it's discernment.